Dr. Daphine Kaniaru joins us here on Author's Corner this time around. And what an important book. This is the time to change if you haven't done it in the past. So many people struggling with weight, with health, with just in general, their being and how they feel. So this is that book that can take you to that place. And we're pleased to have her on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
What is it that led you to write The Future of Medicine to Prevent and Reverse Chronic Diseases?
I've always been interested in prevention of diseases. When I developed the interest to go into medicine, I grew up, in the church that I was attending, Seventh-day Adventist Church. I was taught about how lifestyle affects our health. So I grew up with this background, and I was really interested in going into medicine. So I went into medicine with in mind that prevention, this is what I wanted to do. So as I did medicine, specialized in family medicine, but I was prescribing medications, sending patients who have procedures. So it wasn't so much of the lifestyle that I was really interested in. So I continued to do my research and, from the background that I had, and then I found lifestyle medicine. So the American Academy of Lifestyle Medicine, American College rather, of Lifestyle Medicine that uses lifestyle to treat, to prevent, and even reverse chronic diseases. So that's really when I got into this. I said, I gotta share this information that I've learned through the years with, growing numbers. I mean, it's exponential, numbers growing in terms of people having diabetes. In fact, right now, 10% of Americans have diabetes. A third of them have pre-diabetes. So we are looking at almost 50% of us walking around with abnormal sugars. And that is actually a big deal. It really affects us and a lot of complications. Number one killer for the last probably 5 or so decades is heart disease. And diabetes accelerates heart disease. So, these are just some of the diseases: hypertension, heart disease, high cholesterol, obesity. All these diseases are preventable, but also reversible. So that's why I wrote the book, because we are really not having lasting solutions to these problems. Because again, the solution should be lifestyle, not medications. Because once people get on these medications, they don't get off of them. Because it's like a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid to the problem. But if we can attack the root cause of these diseases, then we can reverse them and get these patients off the medications.
Wow, I love that. So passionate, well said, giving us the statistics and talking about it being a Band-Aid. And here's what I like about what your book says: the future of medicine to prevent and reverse chronic diseases. Because I think, Doc, a lot of people give up. Like you said, they get on the medicines. It's like, I'm just staying on this. I really want to make a change, but they don't make the change. But you're saying, hey, listen, you can reverse these chronic problems because you've seen it, right?
Right.
And that's huge, because I do think that people mentally get a block in their head that they think, I've already gone down this path, forget it. I'd love to change, but it's just too hard. And you say in your book, and you give us the answers to this, so much, and you talked about it with the Seventh-day Adventists, and what you found is, what is it that we're eating? So what do we need to be eating that people are not eating enough of, or not eating at all?
So, and going back to the Bible, because, the foundation where I really learned this was from the church and the Bible. If you go back to Genesis 1:29, God gave us, fruits that have trees that have fruit and vegetables and herbs as food. So we know that God, who made us, really made us to eat plant foods. But now if you look at, and you see people eating animal food after the flood because there was no vegetation. And then you see, sacrifices happening and all these, feasts and stuff. That's when you see people eating animal food. But then this is what has happened. We have turned our diet not plant-based, but animal-based. And then, of course, highly processed foods, which is not good because nutrients have been removed. But really making our diet plant-based is a big problem because our body, our physiology is not meant for this kind of food. High fat, high cholesterol, high saturated fats. So what we need to do is to go back and have our diet be plant-based. Well, if you're not necessarily, because you don't need animal food, there's no nutritional need for animal food. But if you still wanted to eat it needs to be occasional. It cannot be the foundation. It cannot be the staple. You cannot be eating eggs, 2 eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, steak for dinner, and expect to be healthy because your physiology, your body's not meant to eat that kind of, to function on that kind of food. Every cell in our body uses glucose. It's the most efficient fuel in the body. It's carbohydrates. So if you're not giving the body carbohydrates, our body's not running efficiently, right? And so if you're eating this animal food, the only animal food that has carbohydrate is milk. All the others don't have. It's protein and fat, right? And of course, minerals and some vitamins and stuff. But when you look at the plant foods, each one of them has carbohydrates because that's how our body is supposed to function. So if you go back, and I tell people 5 food groups. Number 1, whole grain, like whole wheat, brown rice, wild rice, oats, millet, amaranth, all these whole grains. Number 2, legumes, beans, all different kinds of beans, lentils, peas. Number 3, nuts and seeds, right? Chia seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, cashews, but I want to say something about the nuts. Don't go sit and snack on salted and roasted nuts because they're high fat, so you don't want to do that. I only do like a handful of raw nuts, or if you want to use it in a sauce or a salad dressing, be careful when you use that. So that's your nuts and seeds. Number 4, vegetables, from green leafy vegetables because they're highly nutritious to all different kinds of vegetables with different colors, plus the starchy vegetables because now where we are, we're afraid of carbohydrates. People don't want to eat potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, and those. We need to eat those. Number 5, fruits, from berries because they're also highly nutritious, full of antioxidants, and all different kinds of fruits. For the same reason of people being afraid of starch, they're also not eating a lot of fruit. And as a society, we're not eating enough fruit. In fact, in my clinic, when I talk to patients, there's a good number of them that tell me they don't even eat fruit or vegetable in a day. And this is the foods we need. They're high in carbohydrates, good carbohydrates. I'm not talking about go drink soda and go drink all these refined sugars because these are empty calories. They don't have nutrients. But if you eat it in a fruit, if you eat it in a sweet potato, in a whole grain, in beans, these are good because they are full, they come with a lot of nutrients. So this should be the foundation of our food, right? And this is going to help us to stay healthy because these plant foods have very powerful compounds called antioxidants, phytochemicals, and fiber. These help to fight disease, but also they're full of vitamins, minerals, complex carbohydrates, protein, and good fats, and water. So this is what we need. This should be the foundation of our diet. And they need to be unprocessed or minimally processed because a study came out that showed that 67% of calories in the youth is coming from ultra-processed foods. This is not food. It's purely junk, devoid of nutrients. And our body needs nutrients, not just calories. So we have to eat food that gives us nutrients and calories.
Wow. So there's the lesson in that. And that's why this book is so good. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, The Future of Medicine to Prevent and Reverse Chronic Diseases. We're speaking with Dr. Kaniaru about this. Fiber. What are some of the good sources of fiber? Because people always ask about that.
Right. And so if you eat whole plant foods, all of them have fiber. But the really good ones when it comes to fiber, beans and lentils have the highest amount of fiber of all the foods. Guess what? As Americans, we just don't eat enough beans. We don't. And these are very inexpensive. I cook like a cup of beans and, 1 cup of dry beans. I end up with three cooked, cups of beans. You are in control. If you eat right, if you exercise, sleep, have social connection. These are things are addressed in the book. Stress management, have faith, time in nature, clean air, avoid risky substances, cigarettes and drugs and alcohol and caffeine, all these different things, which you can read in length in my book, The Future of Medicine to Prevent and Reverse Diseases. For more information, you can get it and you can take charge. So all I'm saying is, I want you to know that you are in charge of your health, and you can have a healthy life, and you can avoid all these drugs that people are on. People are on like so many drugs. It is really sad, but you have control.
I love it. Perfect place to end this, Dr. Kaniaru. Thank you so much.
Thank you.